What's up, BZBTV? My name is Matt, one of the videographers for BZB Gear. So today we're going to be covering the topic of working from home. It's a topic that I'm fairly, I've had to adjust to quite a bit in the last few weeks. But joining me today, we have some people that have a little bit more experience than I have. But I think we've picked plenty of people that have a really good insight into this topic and maybe some ways to deal with it, how to navigate the environment better from working from home, what kind of equipment might actually help you, and what are the benefits. So without further ado, we are going to go ahead and introduce these two wonderful gentlemen. We have Joel Cruz, our marketing director, and Trayvon, one of our marketing leads. And I believe, Trayvon, that you are fairly new to the company, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So welcome aboard. Sorry to throw you into the deep end over here on the live stream, but what kind of a company would we be if we didn't throw you in the deep end, right?
Throw them into the fire.
Exactly. So Joel, you've been navigating the work from home life a little bit more than I have. So how's it been treating you?
Yeah. So I travel. Well, I travel. Majority of the week is from home. I travel to the office twice a week, but I mean, it has been beneficial. I mean, like just from work standpoint and lifestyle standpoint and just economically, like especially with gas prices right now. Luckily, I've noticed that they are going down actually. So, hopefully it trends that way. I just filled up yesterday after having to travel to the office. It's a 2-hour drive. So, and after that total number came up on the gas pump, I wasn't as frightened and it wasn't that bad. So, totals are going down. But, I mean, I enjoy it. The difficult part is, I guess, finding that balance because you're always at home now, right? So you have to create your own workspace. You have to have a nice, quiet setting. Kind of emulate what you would have at work. I mean, I have 2 kids, so then, and especially right now, it's summertime, so they are just around the house all day. You gotta, you gotta find that balance between, feeding them, and then, finding a quiet place to do live streams like this.
Yeah.
I told them, hey, don't bother Dad while I'm on a video. I told them to tune in though. Hopefully they're watching right now. Hi guys. It's just, you save time from the travel. I mean, that's good. So, you can get a lot more work done, be more productive. Later on in this stream, I'm sure you guys have stats too. I have a bunch of stats that I see from, online and articles of the benefits, of working at home. So we could get into that later. But, I like it. It gives it makes you feel a lot fresh, like your mind is more fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still do like coming into the office too, like sometimes I for like meetings or just to touch base with your colleagues, the boss, so it's still beneficial. But I mean, the work from home, I have nothing against that.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that I've noticed now that from working from home for a few weeks, is that when it's a lot easier to get a good night's sleep, basically. Like I don't know if you've kind of noticed that, but like it's a lot easier to kind of get to wake up feeling really refreshed and just like hit it right as you're waking up. Kind of like when I went into the office, I know sometimes it would be a little bit of a struggle to kind of wake myself up and get like in the mood to get things going. But I don't find that as much from working from home.
Yeah. I mean, like, right. I mean, it's basically you get up, you brush your teeth, and then you don't have to. Your mindset is just work now. I mean, yeah, when you have to travel, you have to, get your mindset. You gotta get in the zone. And then you gotta commute. All that commuting could be. I mean, it doesn't have to be my 2-hour commute. It could just be like regular 10-mile, 15, whatnot. But you're stuck in traffic, and then you might get stressed out, or you have just a lot of stuff like that. So when you're from home, I mean, it is just you wake up, and then boom, your office is right there. So you could get to work right away, and you don't have to worry about any of the other little stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, there are also some downsides too. I mean, unfortunately, like you said, it is about finding a balance. It can be pretty easy to get distracted sometimes too from home. Not saying that it's not easy to get distracted when you literally have a computer in your pocket anyways with your smartphone at work, but it can be a little bit easier at home because sometimes you're like, oh, well, I definitely need to do this while I'm around the house. And so depending on the situation, some of it is definitely finding that balance. But if you can strike that good balance, I feel like I get more done in the day than I did when I was coming into the office. And I don't know if part of that's because, like you said, you're not waking up, you're not spending an hour getting to work, you're not spending an hour getting home. So, I mean, like you just kind of feel like you have more time to do stuff throughout the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Trayvon, what's been your experience with working from home?
So I actually worked from home last week for my first time, and it was actually a pretty odd experience. Just waking up in the morning and having more agency over my day, because usually I would wake up and I'm rushing out the door. Then I hit the freeway and there's traffic, and then you get into the office, and there is this aspect of being in the office where you have to conform and socialize more, which takes up more time and energy and sort of takes away from your creativity when it comes to your work. And that can affect you if you work in, marketing or advertising, writing. So what I found last week when I was working from home was I was a bit more creative, but the pros of working in the office is you get to communicate with your colleagues more and brainstorm. So then, there's that balance of like your own creativity versus the creativity you get from communicating with your colleagues.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of like one thing, especially being like in a creative field, like for video work or marketing or whatnot, I know one thing, like I've had to figure out how to set up a kind of a studio here at my house. So that's been an interesting experience, but I think it made me think a little bit more outside the box on how to get things done. So, I mean, that's definitely a plus. I think one thing that is kind of overlooked, and this is kind of getting more into the stats of kind of working from home, is there is some real cost benefits for employers when you have employees working from home. I know there's been a few like really big companies out there like Sun Microsystems, which said from the working from home during the pandemic, they had a savings of about $68 million a year in just real estate costs because they weren't having as many, they didn't have to have as much space for their employees, right? And Dow Chemical and Nortel have said that they have saved over 30% on non-real estate costs. So that could be anything from like utilities, cleaning services, food, maybe even taxes in certain states. So it's kind of a very interesting dynamic that we've launched ourselves into just because of this whole pandemic.
I mean, even like before, pandemic, I mean, like, you had people working from home. But, ever since it kind of exasperated everything, you have distance learning now. houses of worship. A lot are doing. I mean, they did do online services, but now, when the pandemic hit, that it was exclusively just through online services. And I mean, a lot of churches. I mean, they've realized that it's still. I mean, they can still get collections. They have to get donations, but they all do it through online now. Through Venmo, whatnot. And yeah, I mean, and it's still, they're being successful still with their streams like that. So a lot of them are continuing to push with their online live streaming of their services. And then schools, you mentioned schools. Schools, distance learning for teachers. We'll get into that later. Like you said, about certain products that can benefit pastors or teachers to live stream their content. Yeah. So everything is evolving.
Yeah, I know that's one significant concern is equipment for employees when they're working from home. And I think you mentioned something about depending on age group, some employees are more receptive to working from home, and some kind of want to go into work a little bit more in the office. Part of that is kind of that social dynamic that Trayvon kind of talked about. I know, in the younger age group, 20 to 29, a lot of them really they prefer working at the office because they get that social dynamic. And I know some of the older demographic also kind of prefers working from home because, they've already done that. They've been there, done that. They've already established themselves, and they kind of enjoy having a little bit more freedom with their time. And on top of that, they don't feel as tied to their employer necessarily for any equipment they think they might need. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic. But I know we have a few products that might be somewhat helpful for people that are looking into working from home. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this little video here. It's more geared towards a conference room setup, but that being said, stuff like the auto-framing EPTZ camera that's included in there, and our Bluetooth conference speaker can be really helpful if you're working from home, especially if you have stuff that you need to have a bunch of work calls and whatnot, maybe even business calls. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and roll that. And we're back. So that was just kind of a conference kit that we put together. You might not need everything in that for working from home, like the BYOD. That's more of a conference room kind of geared product. But stuff like the SMB there and the auto-framing EPTZ camera, those are really, really nice, easy things to work with. I know my sister, for example, she just started a new job. And she is kind of doing a hybrid work environment now, too, where she spends about 3 out of the 5 days working from home, doing calls with clients and doing a whole bunch of stuff from home. And she goes into the office about two days a week. So it's been interesting to kind of see her experience on that, too, because I know for her, she feels like she's getting a whole lot more done, too. And it's I think it's been a lot better for her mental state too, because I mean she's more of an introverted person, so it just allows her to kind of recharge a little bit more, and she has a little bit more drive to get things done. I've noticed. So I think it's going to be interesting seeing how this work from home environment kind of evolves over the next few years, especially with some companies actually pushing back on it, like Tesla. I know Elon Musk is kind of saying, "Hey guys, it's time to come back to the office." So we'll see how that's all handled.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think we were having a discussion earlier. You mentioned like certain industries, I guess, would make sense that you have to be at the office or at the job site, like factory workers, whatnot, with Tesla. But yeah, I mean, there's so many other industries that are doing the remote or hybrid. Big companies like 3M, Lyft, Reddit, Twitter. So everybody is kind of find that it's favorable.
Yeah.
And just to add about the products, we showed the conference kit products. This is not, I guess it could be, not really work from home, but the Maestro, which is our auto tracking EPTZ camera. It's, great for teachers and pastors for, distance learning and houses of worship. So, I mean, and, the Maestro, it did win an award for us at Infocom. Best of show, recognized by Tech and Learning. So much appreciation to Tech and Learning. So I mean, it's not really working from home, but I mean learning from home, and having your services from home, very beneficial, and it will benefit the content creators who are utilizing.
It for sure could be a work from home camera. In all honesty, I mean, it's not a bad camera for people that do stuff like maybe yoga instruction. I know some of that has been taking place from remote. I know a lot of fitness instructors have been doing stuff from their own house. But even like you said, education. My mother, she was a teacher before we moved, but she was a teacher, and for the longest time she was teaching from home. So I mean, I think there are definitely applications where something like an auto tracking camera like the Maestro might actually be beneficial to people that are working from home. It just depends on what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're coming up here pretty close to 20 minutes on this topic. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add?
No. Oh, can you show that graph? Do you have that graphic of the age group?
I don't have it
stats
on the broadcast.
Oh, okay. But you touched on it earlier about they had there's actually like this whole topic about Gen Z, that group. They actually prefer to work in the office, so they're majority of them are against working from home. The reasoning is because they're young, so they kind of want that still leadership and someone to lead them, as opposed to the older group that they've been in the game for a while and they know how things work, and they don't really need to be led as much or mentored. And yes, I mean, the young people, I mean, they talked about camaraderie, energy, just the intangibles, like the constant chatter around the office, that they crave, that they like that type of atmosphere. I mean, I understand that too. I mean, because when you're young, you're still in school, you're around like other like the crowds and stuff like that. So you have your teachers instructing you, leading you. So I just found that interesting when I read that I thought everybody would prefer to work from home, like it was an automatic. But it was just interesting to see that as the age group, the younger ones are the ones who really prefer to work in, at work. And then as the groups get older, the older crowd does prefer to work from home.
Just to kind of
so
give people a quantifiable look at what he's talking about. This is based off of a study from Nicholas Bloom at Stanford University and Stephen Davis at the University of Chicago. So that kind of shows like it breaks it down to people who want to work from home full time by age group. So 20 to 29 is only about 24%, 30 to 39 is 29%, 40 to 49 is 33%, and then the 50 to 64 age group is 41%. So
Yeah.
it is definitely
Yeah.
interesting to look at it from like an age group
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a large part of that is because once you're young and you come out of college and you go into your industry, you don't know how to manage yourself, especially when you're new to your line of
hmm
work, and you run the risk of overworking. And then that risk of overworking also creates like more frequent burnout. So
Yeah.
younger people who are working from home and they just got into the industry and they're excited, they're going to run the risk of burning themselves out very frequently, and it's going to make them, think that they hate their job or they hate their industry and start to question whether they're in the right line of work. So like that mental health aspect is a huge
hmm
part of why younger people would rather be in the office like under someone who can supervise them and like kind of lead them to where they can get more comfortable with being on their own and managing their own work without overworking themselves.
hmm
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. I think a lot of it
Yeah.
too also has to do with the fact that like when you're working, when you're young, breaking into the industry, right, and you're first starting, you're basically surrounding yourself with guys that have maybe been there for like 10, 15, 20 years. So there's a lot of knowledge that you can glean from those people. So like lots of cool little things that you never really thought about doing, but maybe make your job that much easier, or maybe techniques that you could implement into like your camera work or whatnot that you maybe didn't think about. So it's kind of interesting when
Yeah.
you look at that from that direction too.
Yeah. Good point, guys.
All right. Well, is there anything else?
No, no, I think that is it. Oh, I recently, sorry, I have to tell the story because
No.
I think I'm gonna be telling it for the rest of the year. um, I finally took a vacation, actually, long-awaited vacation. We did the Tahoe trip. It was I forgot, it's the American Championship Classic. It's a celebrity golf tournament in Tahoe. That it's an annual thing that they have every year. And my son we were following Steph Curry. He had his Warrior shirt on, and we were at the hole. I told him, hey, wave to Curry after he was done with his hole. I told him, hey, wave at him. He'll appreciate that. He gave us a nod. And then he started signing a ball, and I said, "What is he doing?" He signed it. He looked up at my son, and he tossed him the ball. Yeah, my son. Everybody. It was funny because everybody knew the ball was going to him, but he still dove onto the green, trying to fight people for the ball. But he was the only one fighting for the ball. But no, man, that was just the most awesome experience. I know he's gonna remember it for the rest. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And I'm already a Curry fan, but I think this, he's the number one human being now in our books. So
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's definitely a great guy.
Yeah. So yeah, quite an experience, man.
That's awesome. I hope your son really. I don't think your son will ever forget that either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I gotta check the mail actually. In the mailbox, we ordered a golf ball case with engravings. So
Stick it up on the
once
wall.
that comes in, we're gonna put it by the front door. So when people come in, But yeah, no, that's quite the experience though.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today in the live stream. If you guys being our BZBTV audience, have any questions about some of our products, or maybe some things that you might be thinking about doing for your business, or maybe even working from home, feel free to give us a call, or more importantly, get in contact with one of our authorized resellers or distributors. They would love to get you guys hooked up and maybe even help you with figuring out what kind of setup you might need. But without anything else to say on this topic, I believe we will go ahead and cut the stream off. And thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.